Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome to a Thronebreaker guide. So we're going to look at the paths and also some cheese champion options. I'm also going to do a separate video which will be coming later on, which is Kate Bishop. Really easy to be cheesed, especially if you have a white Magneto. There you go, I've just spoiled the video. Not this video, but that particular video I'm going to post later on. But let's get right into it. Best champions for the paths and also for the bosses. Let's begin with 1.1, and yes, there is a spreadsheet with a link in the description down below. So the first thing is that 1.1 has martial discipline and fighting fit. This is all about your skill-based champions. For this, there's tons of options. You've got Black Widow Deadly Origin by doing crits. It allows for debuff shrugging, and that will mean every 5 critical hits that you'll be able to purify, which gets you passive fury. But also there's other options. Crossbones shrugs off effects. You've got Jabari Panther, Mole Man, Kingpin. The list goes on with options for that. So whether you do crits or you do purifies, there's different options available for you. And for the boss, and by the way, if you click on the spreadsheet, there is a tab that says boss breakdowns. I've written a little bit about this one. The champion is #metal, so points that you use Magneto for it, Red Magneto. But of course, use whatever. This is a very kind of like doable and easy fight. Also, you could use champions that stagger, your Doctor Doom, Sasquatches, etc, etc. How you deal with certain situations. Warlocks, Awakened Penny Parker. Again, this is not really a really difficult fight, especially when it comes to using the likes of how Indomitable works, how the champion gets heal or hide. It's very easy to do. There's nothing really to kind of worry any player about. 1.2 is all about using those cosmic grit, cosmic champions. Of course it is. And there's tons of options available for here. Whether or not you use the likes of Hercules, whether or not you use the likes of my personal favourite King Groot, Hyperion Corvus, Cat Marvel movie, the list goes on. Angela is always a great one for this. So buff generation champions are the best. Your Venoms, your Venom pools, whatever you decide to use for the particular path, is going to be down to you what you have available. Your boss is Crossbones, and to be honest, any champion really does this fine. Any mutant champion can do this. Namor can reflect burst damage if you're looking to take it. There is reddening and beat the buzzer, so it could mean that you might find yourself with some sort of like small window of opportunity to throw a special attack before getting slapped. And also, like, you know, do watch out that that particular special and that power doesn't go from you very quickly. So it's important to kind of look at that thing, but it's up to you. Like, I use Doctor Doom on this one. I think most champions really can do this absolutely fine. But any strong mutant is going to be really great. White Magneto, maybe. Bishop, maybe. Apocalypse, maybe. A Mega Red, maybe. Throwing a White Magneto with a passive stun. Again, that could be very helpful to you. That's going to become something that's going to be useful down the line when going up against the likes of Kate Bishop. But again, another very doable fight for 1.2. And now onto the more annoying tactical section. So there's going to be 2 particular quests that have tactical, and this first one is Short Temper Bloody Barb. Now here's the thing, if you've got yourself mutant champions, you can do this on a fight by fight basis, but you can cross fight and have the ability of passive fury with #mercenary, #guardians of the galaxy. There's a few different champions that are going to be very effective for this. Any mutant, as we said a moment ago, but do bear in mind there are some mutants that do play into this, like Deadpool X-Force, Sabretooth and Domino, but you may choose for other options. My personal favourites are Black Widow Deadly Origin, Massacre, but do bear in mind there is another way of dealing with this particular quest, and that is because that very annoying unstoppable buff comes up. You can look to stagger. This is where I'm finding more effectiveness, and I think it's better personally using the likes of Doctor Doom, Black Widow, Clairvoyant, and any champion that suppresses that unstoppable when it pops up. Yes, you won't get your Fury passives, but at the same time, it makes it a hell of a lot easier than you might think to suppress that unstoppable and get that rotation in a little bit more cleanly. Now the boss for 2.1 is Red Skull. This still is a champion that is #metal, but it's not maybe the best champion to deal with this. Armor break immunity means that using champions that would armor break, like your Medusas, your Terexes, may not be the right choice of action to go down this. I personally recommend nullifiers and champions that are able to suppress or take away and nullify those buffs. The likes of Mephisto, Symbiote Supreme, Spider-Man Supreme can play into this stuff. Wiccan, Morningstar with an SP2 that slaps, Black Widow Clairvoyant can be a lot of fun, as well as Magic Smashing and a massive SP3 and more. There are so many other options. Doctor Doom was fun against this one, especially building up to an SP3 and slapping it, especially because you got power struggle, so when the enemy gets a bar of power, you get a bar of power. So building up to 3 SP3s and getting that SP3 fired off was really helpful. But do bear in mind, do not hit the champion's block, as you'll be stung with a lot of damage. 2.2 is all about either using science champions per fight or go cross fight with Spider-Verse, Symbiote and Sinister Six options. So it does mean there's a lot of different and fun counters for this. Whether or not, first of all, you're going to look at the likes of, as I said, science-based champions, and there's a ton. Whether or not you use your Human Torches, your Mr. Fantastics, or whatever, it's down to you. What's your most kind of stonking champion in your roster in science to then take in? That's down to you. But what if you want to play into the crossfight? Well, you've got champions like Red Goblin, who was a great MVP for me, Venom, Gwenpool, Venom the Duck, Symbiote Supreme, Spider-Man Symbiote, Agent Venom, Anti-Venom. Also, we've got the new Spider-Man Supreme, to name but a few. And there's tons more where that came from. Penny Parker. Actually, Penny Parker was actually my MVP, not Red Goblin. I used Penny Parker a little bit more. And if you throw together your Miles Morales synergy, you can find you're starting with a lot more Spider-Verse charges, which means, or Spider charges, I can't remember what, Spider-Sense charges. You're able to smash off a great amount of damage in a short space of time. That SP2, after throwing about one extra SP1, is going to be amazing for you. So I really highly recommend that for anybody that wants to get involved with that. And that's not going to be the first time you'll end up using other champions like Penny Parker. Ended up using her a bit in the final quest, but you know, there are some of the great options there for some of the paths. When it comes to your end boss, you have got yourself a Captain America Infinity War fight. You've got Pass the Buck and also enhanced abilities. I would say that with Pass the Buck and Micro Reflect and Obstinate Charge, they're kind of the only things to really look out for. Other than that, I don't really see anything to be so much afraid of. I personally just went the easy, cheesy option of using Archangel. After I kind of like ate a few from the Obstinate Charge, which basically means that the champion is going to go stun immune. You can just get bypass that for 8 seconds just doing a rotation of parry heavy, and because of size matters, you can do parry heavy with Archangel with their ease. But to be honest, it's not the best option. There are better options for it. Cue the likes of Kingpin, King Groot, any XL champion that slaps, Moleman's, Venom, Gwenpool, Penny Parker, Warlock. The list goes on. There are going to be some options that are going to be large champions, but again, that all depends on throwing special attacks, intercepting and stuff like that. It's up to you how you decide to take on this, but some of those XL champions were actually like some really good options. Now we come into the business chapter. The business chapter is always the new champions that come into game. So one of the first ones we start is 3.1. And 3.1 sees us with Mystic Consumption. This is definitely all about those fun stagger and also nullify Mystic-based champions. Now, I like my Scarlet Witch Classic, and I'm sure a lot of people like what they like. But you've got Wiccan, you've got Scarlet Witch, you've got Mangog, you've got Longshot, you've got some of the top-rated champions, of course. Doctor Doom, Symbiote Supreme, which is one of the best, Mephisto, Juggernaut as well. Anything that would stagger or nullify can be really effective on easy rotations. I'm not saying that these are like, you know, all of them, but there's some of the really kind of like top ones and interesting ones on rotation that you can use. So yeah, a lot of fun can be had. The boss for 3.1 is Kate Bishop. Now I went into this one not really know much about the champion, and I very quickly learned that this champion is very easily countable, or counterable, sorry, that's not even a word, but you can counter the champion really easily with a White Magneto. White Magneto puts a passive parry on the champion, so it means that when you put a stun debuff on Kate Bishop, she then snaps, and then obviously she will evade away, and you will get hit by a stun passive. This is annoying, so the only way to kind of counter it and also get in a good rotation without having to worry about it too much is to have that White Magneto. Hence why I'll be putting out a video straight after that shows a cheesy, easy option by using the likes of Archangel. If you got yourself a White Magneto at any different rarity, 3, I don't know if there's a 2-star one, 3, 4, 5 or 6, then definitely you can use that particular champion to put a passive parry on and use any strong champion. Any mutant champion can do really good, and I would recommend loads of champions like Apocalypse, Namor, because they're either hashtag metal or hashtag hero and can be used effectively to take this down. And I'm probably showcasing that on screen right now. This leaves the last quest as being 3.2, and 3.2 is pretty cool because we've got ourselves that lovely high voltage. Danger, danger, it's high voltage. And some of the key champions that you can use for this, and there are more than this, you can use the likes of Infamous Iron Man, which I personally really like. I've got the champion as a 6-star, 100 and something signature. Really, really effective and really, really fun. Penny Parker can be great while time blocks doing power control and getting up that passive fury very, very quickly. And also we've got Nebula, we've got Warlock, we've got tons of champions that do a shock or power control that can get you up to that passive fury and have a really good time on the particular paths you go on. And this all concludes with the boss, Viv Vision. Viv Vision is a little bit annoying with the SP1 rotation. It did take me a little while to learn the way that the beam comes at you. It's kind of laboured and slow, to be brutally honest, and also can be very much unblockable. So I would say with this, building up your steadfast buff, which is just by getting up to 5-hit combos, is going to be very, very essential to make this fight more easier. But there are so many different options you can choose to take this down. Whether or not you take the likes of Doctor Doom to power control and also suppress the likes of those armor up buffs. Also, whether you decide to suppress those armor up buffs, it might be kind of a good way to go. Use the likes of Magneto, Hercules, Nick Fury, Professor X if you feel any kind of like phasing is going to be a problematic thing for you. So yeah, it just depends on how you see fit to take this down. Maybe even using the likes of Symbiote Supreme, Spider-Man Supreme, and so many others to do the stagger route. Or it's a case of playing into the kind of just slapping down the champion with a class advantage. It's going to be down to you. For me personally, it was Magneto doing a lot of work and then finishing off with Infamous Iron Man, which worked well for the path clearing I had to do. There we go. That has been the guide. Links in the description to the spreadsheet. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, probably associated about this month, before we then move on with our lives to other things that we need to be doing and grinding out in game. Cheers, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.